Hello friends, welcome everyone. Today we will discuss the modules for working with the contacts book, which will include adding, deleting, and exporting contacts. To do this, let's go to the contacts book section in the left menu of the software. Here we have the options for adding contacts, deleting contacts, and exporting contacts. Let's start with the module for adding contacts. First and foremost, familiarize yourself with the important information available here regarding the module, including the section for users where usernames and phone numbers are entered. Everything is described here as well. An interesting feature of this module is that you can add contacts with your first and last names. It's written here as an example. Let me show you how it's done. For instance, if you have a database of phone numbers or usernames along with first and last names, and you want to input this data into the contacts list, you do it like this: the username, first name, and last name. This way, the contact will be added with that name and surname. And so it goes for each contact. Let me quickly show you this part first. You just launch it once you've entered the data, and we'll move on to the settings of this module. As we can see, the software indicates that it is pulled from the database and is successfully adding. Accordingly, the software assigns the first and last names you have specified here to these contacts. It also takes delays into account. While this task is running, let me explain that there is a limit to the number of contacts per account. Here you indicate how many contacts to add to one account. I want to remind you that working with usernames and phone numbers varies slightly, depending on the geographical location of your accounts. Therefore, before you start working en masse in this module, I recommend conducting your own tests to understand the limits and approaches that apply to your accounts. All this is in the important information section. But as many of you know, everything is quite individual. So don't forget about this aspect. Alright, our contacts have been added to the account. These contacts have been assigned our names. Additionally, you can specify a list of usernames or phone numbers here. Essentially, everything is written out. We indicate the list of usernames and choose how many contacts per account. Next, there's the addition node. There are unique and multiple options. Unique means one contact will be added to only one account. Multiple means, for instance, if you specify 10 contacts, all 10 will need to be added to each of your accounts. Next, we select our accounts from which we will be adding contacts. Like this, for example. The maximum wait time for flood wait is a standard setting, as in all other modules, so we won't dwell on that. Next, you can hide your account number while working with this module from the accounts you'll be using, and in the privacy settings, your account number will be hidden. You can also choose to clear all contacts before adding. If this option is enabled, then before adding new contacts, the software will delete all existing contacts on the accounts you have selected. And there has the standard flow management setting. If this option is not enabled, the number of flows and delays will be taken from the software settings. If this option is enabled, the number of flows and delays will be taken from here. In this case, we will not enable it. The delay between adding contacts is random, averaging up to 10 seconds. This is already built into the software. Now, let's launch our task. First, as we can see in the log, the contacts have been successfully cleared. The software tells us that it has cleared the contacts on the accounts since we have the option to clear all contacts before adding new ones enabled. Now, it moves on to adding new contacts. we have indicated to add 10 contacts to one account. And one more thing, if you specify, for example, 10 contacts for one account, would you have invalid usernames if the account takes an invalid username? It won't be able to add it to the contacts and will skip it. So, if out of 10 usernames taken for the account, one is invalid, then a total of 9 usernames will be added to this account. 9 contacts, because only 9 usernames are valid. The log states the specified username is not a user. Consequently, 9 users will be added to this account in the contacts. And while our task is coming to a close, it won't take much longer. Remember what I told you before you start working on any module en masse. Like in this case, the contacts module, don't forget to test and conduct testing on a small number first. For example, take 1 to 2 accounts, run tests, see how the software works. With the software logs, how things are happening, understand the principle, the meaning, understand everything about the settings, and then you can proceed to work more extensively with that module. As we can see, successfully added 9 usernames. As I mentioned earlier, because 1 was invalid and out of 10, the software added only 9, since only 9 were valid. So, if you're unsure about the validity of your usernames, you can use the link checking modules or link checking without accounts to check your usernames in advance. If you absolutely need, for example, exactly 10 or the number of contacts you specified for one account, we can stop the task to avoid dragging it out. Now, the task will stop. Our task is complete. Next, we can see that the software has created databases for us. We can open the database and see which contacts have been added. There is also a status here indicating not a user. So, these are exactly the contacts that the software could not add. All information regarding usernames, names, and other details is here. Everything is standard. Everything is saved in the database. Also, if for some reason, for example, you didn't work through the specified users, you'd have a base database. And users of statuses like taken and ready, and so on. To add them again if, for example, you want to continue and didn't finish the previous task, enable the option to use the database, specify the path to the base file. This way, the software will continue with the users that it hadn't previously taken. Next, let's go straight to the Contact Export module. With this module, you can export the contacts from your selected accounts. For example, let's choose these ones. You can also set the flow management option if you are working with a large number of accounts. Then you start it. The software will connect to your accounts, gather information about your contacts, and add all this information to your database. This is your database. You open it and see. All the contact information from this database can be used for various purposes, knowing which contacts are on your accounts. So, it offers additional convenience. Additionally, you can use these databases and other modules for username management or sending messages and invites, but we'll cover sending and inviting in separate videos. I'll talk about that, but the database is also used there, so be sure to check out the other videos, as they say. Now let's move on to the contact deletion module. With this module, you select the accounts from which you want to delete your contacts. You can delete either all contacts or by numbers, usernames, and IDs. If you choose to delete all contacts, then all contacts on your account or your selected accounts will be removed. However, you can also delete specific contacts from all accounts. For instance, if you select by usernames, you specify the list of usernames of the contacts you want to delete, and only those contacts will be removed from your chosen accounts. The others will remain untouched. For example, if you exported contacts, like we did earlier, and took some usernames that don't meet your criteria, you paste that list here. Select the same accounts, and hit star. This way, you will delete those contacts from your accounts. In this case, the module's operation is quite simple. With this option, and this deletion mode, the software simply removes all contacts from your selected accounts. And as has been mentioned in many videos, the software is a tool. So how you use it is entirely up to you. But these modules allow for bulk management of your contact book on your accounts. Deleting, retrieving, adding new contacts, and deleting specific ones. For example, by ID if you specify a list of IDs. And so on. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.